Are you really Harry Potter?
Guys, I have a confession. After watching this trailer, I'd be a hater and a liar if I didn't say some parts of this look pretty freaking good. Okay, this is not actually from the trailer, but it was too funny. I had to put it in the video. Look, when I first heard that they were trying to remake the cinematic masterpieces that are the original Harry Potter films by turning each book into a season for a TV show that's streaming on HBO Max, with this being our new Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, Ron Weasley, Dumbledore, and Snape. Okay, alright, and that was the last one. I'm done. No more Snape memes, I promise. I'm done. Now, obviously, right away, a lot of people like me who love those original films freaking hated this idea. But all the people who love the books to this story didn't really care at all. As a matter of fact, a lot of them are happy because they get to see a lot of the details and stories now from the books that they didn't get to see on screen with the film. Which, hey, you know what? That's fine. I don't blame you guys. That's cool. But I'm gonna have to completely agree with the guy who made the first two Harry Potter films, Chris Columbus, when he said,
"Do you think they'll ever be remade, and should they ever be remade?"
What's the point? The movie exists. Let's just live with the movie. Make something original because we need more original material.
So I'm seeing these photographs of, now it looks like Martin, I could be wrong, wearing a Nick Frost head, walking down the streets of London, and he's wearing the exact same costume that we designed for Hagrid. Part of me was like, what's the point? I thought it was going to be, I thought the costumes were good, I thought everything was going to be different, but it's more of the same.
But then I just freaking realized something major. After rewatching the original Harry Potter films again, I'm pretty sure I found out the exact secret formula or special sauce these films had and how this series could use it to be even better than the movies were. So right now, we're gonna find out the truth. Is this a completely forced, unnecessary reboot, or could it actually be? So let's just get all the cons and negative critiques a majority of people have with the show already before it even came out. And first of all, we need to talk about Snape and the fact that they race swapped him. Now listen, at first I thought this was a very forced, weird decision. Why are they doing this? And sure, even though we all wanted Adam Driver, and not only did he look the part, but he probably would have acted amazing in this role as well. To be honest, I don't think anybody on this planet can do as good as a job as Alan Rickman did. So maybe switching up Snape and doing a whole different take was the best thing that they can come up with. I'm gonna give the guy a chance. Who knows? He might blow my freaking socks off with his acting. And even though the memes are hilarious, I think everyone's being a little too hard on the guy, and they should give him a chance and see his performance before we write him off as a horrible Snape. Second of all, people are coming after these little kids, especially the little boy who's playing Harry Potter, saying horrible things about the way he looks. And honestly, he doesn't look bad at all. I think Harry, Ron, and especially Hermione not only look the part, but from what I've seen of Hermione so far,
I think I'm quite similar to Hermione. I mean, I think I'm fairly good at school.
I think they freaking nailed her casting. And I honestly feel bad for all these kids that they have so much pressure and hype to live up to with an amazing, solid, perfect casting, which was the original films before them, with Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson. And the third thing is, people are not happy with how this show looks overall, how it's shot, how the color grading is, saying it looks way too dark, way too dramatic, and it's not hopeful and optimistic and magical like the first movie and the first book portrays Harry Potter's point of view to be. And that's exactly when I started to agree.
Nevertheless, the vision has to basically fit in with the vision of all 7 pictures. The plan that we set into motion was the first film is our introduction to Harry's world, and as we become part of this world, it has to be romantic and storybook-like and inviting and colorful and warm. As we got to the second film, we drained a little of the color out of the film. The film starts to get a little darker, just like the books.
Numbers 1 and 2 were about little children, and so, of course, were sunnier. It's absolutely right that those films should have been full of sun.
Look, as horrible as the 5th final season of Stranger Things was, it still proved to me that it is possible to make a series so good it makes you want to go back and rewatch the earlier seasons over and over again. So guys, it could happen. This could be a good show, but in my opinion, these are the things that they have to get right. First of all, it's the tone. We only got one freaking trailer for this thing, and it's still really early, but already the show looks very dull, dramatic, cold, and just sad. And personally, especially for the first book this season is based off of, I think this first season needs to be exactly like the movie was. Magical, hopeful, and optimistic. With each season getting more and more darker, colder, and serious with the overall show just like the films did. And the films didn't really plan this out. It just sort of happened. And for you guys to fully understand my point and where I'm going with this, we have to go back to the beginning and not only find out how these movies were made, but why it's so important for this new reboot series to follow the blueprint or formula that made the original film so freaking good.
It is truly Harry Potter pandemonium.
At midnight, less than 1 hour from now, the new Harry Potter book goes on sale.
More than 5,000 people lined up for hours before the midnight opening.
Hundreds of Harry Potter fans waiting for the bewitching hour of 12:01.
Bookstores like Barnes & Noble say its pre-order list, now in the thousands, grows daily.
Kids dress in their costumes and imagine that they're the characters in the books.
The books are disappearing off the shelf.
It's the 2000s, and not only are the Harry Potter books already taking over the world, but they're already adapting the books into movies before the story of Harry Potter was even finished being written.
When I started the movie, there were only 3 books published, so we didn't know what was going to happen in book 7. The only information that we knew was what Joe Rowling wanted to tell us.
I'm a very secretive writer. I like the feeling that only I know.
And for over half a year, 7 months straight, they kept auditioning kids looking for the perfect Harry, Hermione, and Ron. And then this happened.
I remember popping in a tape of David Copperfield, and I saw Dan's scene, and I thought, this kid really has the potential to be Harry Potter.
If you heard your mum screaming like that, you're just about to be killed. You wouldn't forget in a hurry.
Now, the first 2 Harry Potter films, Sorcerer's Stone, and yes, I say Sorcerer's Stone because I'm from America and I didn't get the crazy alternate dimension where they say Philosopher's Stone, all right? I didn't grow up on that.
Of course, here it is. Nicholas Flamel is the only known maker of the Philosopher's Stone.
What? Anyway, Sorcerer's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets to me are not just timeless, magical classics that you can literally watch at any point of your life, during any time of year, during almost any major holiday, but just those 2 movies alone made over $2 billion in the box office. So even though they were still just 3 books behind an unfinished story while making these movies, with all that money coming in, Warner Brothers was not gonna slow down. However, Chris Columbus had enough.
3/4 of the way through Chamber of Secrets, I realized there was no way I was going to be able to continue because I was practically a basket case after working on 600 plus days of shooting. I was completely and emotionally and physically exhausted. There was no way I could do a 3rd Harry Potter film. I've always felt guilty about leaving. I really did. Oh, no. When I said goodbye to you guys, I was like, I can't believe I'm leaving these guys.
But without him or Warner Brothers even realizing, this would be the best thing that could ever happen to the franchise. So obviously I haven't read the books, but if the movies are anything like them, I can tell you that as these kids get older and this story continues, it gets more dramatic, more serious, and even more darker in the tone. And from Prisoner of Azkaban all the way up until the Deathly Hallows, they nailed this freaking perfect. I mean, even the freaking Warner Bros logos got more and more scarier as the films went on. Pretty sure this one haunted me in my sleep while I was having sleep paralysis one night. But look, I'm not saying all of these movies are perfect, but what I am saying is that having these movies get darker and more serious as the story carries on didn't just make perfect sense for the films narratively, but it also made sense because of the people who were watching these movies. Because at the time of each movie's release, we were growing older with the characters. And even some of us were going through the same stages and ages as they were. So even though I could sit here, nerd out, and glaze these movies like a Krispy Kreme donut, this is the main reason why I think these movies worked so well. And it's also why I think over time these movies are getting better and better with every rewatch. So look, if I was a business owner at Warner Brothers, of course I would want to recreate this money-making magic again for a whole new younger generation that didn't grow up with Harry Potter like us, or are aiming at audiences that are younger and like binging series more than watching movies, or whatever their demographic charts say, I don't know. As extremely hard it is to replicate the original magic that this cast and these films had, the blueprint for them is already there, but there's still some stuff they definitely have to get right. The second thing is they need to focus more on the characters. Not only on the 3 main kids, which my god, these guys have such big shoes to fill, but on every single character from this story that matters. Because yeah, man, the powers is cool, the Wizarding World is cool, all that's nice, but what really made those original stories so good is the freaking characters, their arcs, and their stories. And if they can somehow pull a miracle out their butts and flesh out these characters and give them more lore and make them more lovable and interesting than the original cast was, that is the secret sauce you need, and that's what they need to focus on. And the third thing is, which could possibly be more important than anything else I said in this video, is that they need to show Voldemort in this show being even more darker and eviler and more scary than the original one from the films. Because guess what? You can say you hate these Harry Potter films, but you can't deny that Lord Voldemort from the original Harry Potter movies is one of, if not the best on-screen villain we've ever got. And that's gonna be almost impossible to top, man. So that needs to be something you really focus on, nailing Voldemort in this series. And the fourth and most simple thing that might fly right over the showrunners' heads is that this is a series you need to capitalize on that. Because don't get me wrong, I love the fact that I can just put on any Harry Potter film from any year or any era and enjoy it in one setting. But those stories were condensed into 2-hour runtimes. This version of Harry Potter has that as an advantage over the movies, where it's a series. You can really flesh this out and really make it different and stand out more than the movies. So even though deep down this will always be my Harry Potter and these movies will always have a special place in my heart and I'll always have a bias towards them, just from this trailer alone and the fact that Hans Zimmer is doing the music for this show, and if HBO and Warner Brothers really put their heart into this series, this really could be